for Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
Hey, it is Deja. I am so sorry. I was looking down and got an eyeful of something I wasn't expecting to see.
Okay, sure. If you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section of pop culture and real life. Today we are coming to you with one of our crossover episodes. We are going to talk about the evolution or devolution or full circle of the Housewives franchise. Um, Many things are changing. Many things are changing, and we want to talk through it all. So, as y'all know, Bravo is making changes in the Housewives universe in a lot of different directions, I feel like all at once.
Hmm.
Um, we've seen reboots, we've seen hard reboots, we've seen soft reboots, we've seen new franchises that are bringing in a lighter fare. We've
Hmm.
seen
That's what they want.
we've seen OG Housewives get cut recently. So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Um, let's start with Dubai. Dubai seems to be where they're headed. Dubai
Young and
seems to
fun.
be very light. The drama was over Beyonce and where the people were sitting at Beyonce. Nobody's going to war, fighting their family. Nobody's fist fighting. They're just living their rich lives and fighting over
Very rich
Beyonce
lives
TV.
at that.
Yeah.
The girls got money over in Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say even with the reboot of
New
Miami,
York.
I would
Oh,
say the reinstallment of Miami, I would say this kind of fits in there too, because like the Miami girlies do have life stuff going on, but I don't,
yes.
but as a group, I don't feel like maybe other than Adriana, but even with that, it's still not as nasty as some of these other drama
Right.
on these other franchises.
I think the biggest thing is it's a lot of long-standing beef just coming to a head and women just not wanting to be have to work with one another any further.
Yeah.
To the point of like the reunion last season with the Housewives of New Jersey. Teresa basically was saying that I'm not going to have to deal with you next season, as if Melissa and Joe were going to be ousted from the show.
Hmm. And I think it kind of goes back to something we've talked about before with term limits, because it's like if this beef is going to be so long standing and these beefs are going to be so long standing that it brings a toxic air to the show, like maybe we should just like not. Maybe we should have people rotating in and out. And in some cases, I think it's fine for the old housewives to come back, like a
Mm-hmm.
Porsha. Even with OC, Tamra took a break and came back. Heather Dubrow took a break and came back. And it was almost like I was looking forward to seeing them again or excited to catch up for them with them again, but I also don't want to see them another 10 seasons. You know what I mean? Like I would like to
Mm-hmm.
see them wrap this up in maybe 3 to 4 and then let's move some new energy in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm interested to see what's going to happen over the next year, especially considering all of the factions from RHOP to RH New Jersey to
Mhm.
beefs down in Atlanta. Like, I sincerely believe that we will start seeing a lot more, especially with Atlanta and them
Mhm.
having like axed Kenya, Candy already left. Cynthia was a friend to the show, but now without her having her bestie there, I don't know how that's going to work.
Mm.
So it's giving that Atlanta is going to be a recast with maybe one original, which is Porsha,
Porsha. Yeah.
and a few familiar faces, but it's going to be like New York.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though New York has all new faces, I think that's what's ultimately going to happen because at some point, New York, before they recast it all together, they only had three original cast members left on the show, and then they had
Mhm.
all new people.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like that's what's going to end up happening. And
Yeah.
Portia will be like the last man standing because everybody else is gone.
Yeah. As it relates to the factions part, I think we're seeing Potomac kind of like pull it
how to
together,
break that
honestly,
up. Mm-hmm.
because we've seen Wendy and Gizelle. So we talked about this in the past, in previous Real Housewives of Potomac reviews and stuff, where it's just like with Candace being gone, who was Wendy's sort of bestie, and Robin being gone, which was Giselle's bestie. So they have no factions. It's just them. So it's like, what are they going to do? They're either going to get along or somebody's going to have to get off the show. And it seems
Exactly.
like they have opted, both of them, to maintain their checks and get along.
I mean, cause duh. Like they making a cute coin filming these episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. With as opposed to, and maybe honestly, maybe that's how Jersey gets it done. Although I don't know, because Jersey is family. It's family stuff with Jersey,
They
so
got
I
a
don't
lot
think
of
that's
family
gonna get
drama.
it done. I don't think
Yeah,
that's gonna get it done. But
agreed.
yeah, that's not gonna get it done. They would have to fire one of the heads of the factions. They're gonna either have to fire Melissa or Teresa. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, for me, both of them can go, to be honest.
But then I'm like, okay, so if they reboot all of New Jersey, is there anybody that you would want to keep on that cast?
I would say Danielle, and I'm going to tell you why. Danielle is a younger version of Teresa. When
Yeah,
Teresa came on to this show, she was
I agree.
exactly like Danielle. She was a stage mom. She had these girls. She was dressing them
Mhm.
up. She was starting businesses. She was, you know what I mean? Like, that's what she did. Danielle is the epitome of what Teresa was on this show.
Yes, I agree. I would keep her too. I
So,
would keep Danielle. I don't like Rachel, so no.
yeah.
I think she's literally dead. I would build a cast around her.
Yeah. Um, So yeah, I think that is who I would build a cast around in Jersey. And not that I love family drama because I really, really don't. She has enough going on with her family that I think there's
Yeah,
bits and pieces that you could probably bring in and build a new world around.
yeah,
And
I agree.
honestly, I think with Rachel, she has an interesting story with or her son, her husband's son that he had from before that she adopted. And then she has the two smaller kids. So I think that honestly, I think that that's what they had in mind when they brought those two on, is that they
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to be a callback to Melissa and Teresa and how they were raising their kids, and their kids were about the same age, and they were kind of like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought when I first started watching and they were on.
Yeah, I can agree with you because I did watch. That's when I picked back up. New Jersey was last season when they came on.
Yeah. I have this, well, I've heard this theory too, but I feel like Housewives has shifted a lot because of social media. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like this level of overexposure. Even if you follow any blogs or if you follow any vloggers or any people who do commentary on YouTube, it's like every other day, Porsha and Simon, Porsha and Simon, Simon and Porsha. And it's just like, girl, some of this stuff, like, we probably not even gonna see on the show, but like, I miss when we could play this stuff out on the show and be surprised.
Yeah.
Like, the element of surprise has really left the building.
Mm-hmm. But I'm almost certain that with that Kate, with the two of them, I don't imagine that Simon was going to allow this story to play out on the show. So
No,
it's
of course
probably going
not.
to be another like Kenya where she can't talk about what all is going on with this divorce, even though we can see it on social media.
Agreed. But again, then what are you on the show for? Like, I don't want to see you going to do all these little random parties with Dennis Jr. You know what I mean? With PJ. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't care. We know that you have all this mess going on in your life. We're not going to
Mm-hmm.
just ignore it and move on to like, oh, PJ, girl. No, we're not.
Child, that
I don't accept that. I
we
don't
want to
accept
know what's really happening within your life, girl. That's what it is.
absolutely. So, do you have any predictions for how this plays out? I have a few. I have a few thoughts about how this goes on in the future, but I'd love to hear yours.
I definitely think that Jersey is potentially facing a recast.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that they are going to move with the younger crowd. because at this point, the 20 somethings, like we started watching the Housewives franchise, excuse me, as 20 somethings.
Yeah.
We are now in our late 30s, some early 40s and up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting the eyes of the youth. So,
Mm-mm.
in order for it to still be a viable show, they're going to have to recast and skew down younger.
Yep.
It's the
I
only
agree with
options they
you.
got.
Yeah. I
So,
agree with
like,
you. And I think thinking about that, I that was probably the point of getting like somebody like Monica on Housewives of Salt Lake City, because she was
oh, yeah.
the clear younger girly, and honestly, I think she could have went with the blogger angle. She was just, the way she did it was kind of messy. And I think that's why she ended up getting ousted, because the way she did it was basically like kind of like infiltrating the group, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they
But
ousted her because they probably could have still had a story around with her on that cast
yeah,
if she had like did this better. Like she should have like introduced it and said, hey, even if she was the person that was a part of it, she should have said something
something.
so that you would still be able to film with these ladies, because now everybody has banded together. They don't even like each other, but they done banded together to keep your ass out so you can't get to the bag.
Nothing like a common enemy.
You
And
know what I
so
mean?
so I was thinking about this in terms of the future of Housewives, and to me it was feeling almost like a full circle moment, because it's like the Housewives, when we first started watching them, was something not attainable necessarily, but very much like a step below celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
And these women have now turned into celebrities, some of them in their own right. So,
Yeah.
like, does it just become what it used to be, which is that they get less expensive housewives, they get people who are actually living their lives.
Yeah.
We see them playing out their lives on TV for real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like you said, start with younger internet, maybe some internet girlies, get some internet girlies on there. I know this could be an interesting crossover, especially like in Mormon country, Housewives of Salt Lake City, for instance. Like they could get some of the Tradwife girlies to try to.
Girl,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that necessarily that's what I
we don't
would
need
want.
that on TV.
I'm not saying that's necessarily what I would want, but I'm saying like if you're looking for people who already have like an audience that you can kind of move and transition possibly onto like a bigger platform, or like, well, not necessarily bigger, but a different platform, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, maybe we see some of that. We see some girlies coming off the internet and coming onto the TV. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, if the producers are in their bag, they should be looking at, to be frank, there's a very largely untapped market in terms of like television, the lifestyle girls on YouTube,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
they are getting to the bag.
But that's the other thing, though. It's like they're getting to the bag, but does their bag dry up because they're on these shows arguing all the time? Because a lot of
I wonder.
the bag is based on your persona and the
Yeah.
likability of it all. And so
Mm-hmm.
they're developing these very curated worlds where everything is lovely and wonderful and there's
Some
no
of them are.
drama. Most of them are. A lot of the lifestyle girlies are curating a world for themselves to live in, and that's why they're
Yeah.
attractive to these companies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the TV bag honestly is not that long anymore, because people are moving away from cable. They're
Mm-hmm.
moving on to different things. They're making more money as influencers than they would on TV. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the incentive for those girlies? That's why I'm like, I don't really know who the market is. I don't know that this show survives. I don't know if they decrease the franchises. Maybe the answer is to go into some new markets and to discontinue
Yeah.
some of these older markets where
I
we have
agree.
the same cast. Maybe we don't need, and I think some of it is fatigue too, because maybe we don't need housewives on constantly. Like maybe, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Yeah, I
typically
like that.
there's two franchises on at any given time, sometimes three, depending on the scheduling. So it's
Yeah.
like, do we need three housewives franchises on at any given time? I don't think that we do.
No.
I
It
don't
didn't
think I
used to
ever
be
did.
like that. Like they need to kind of spread it out a little bit. Like we
Yeah.
need Housewives of Houston for sure. They could definitely bring back the girls in Dallas. Even if they reboot the Dallas cast, like give, maybe bring some of the girls back because they also had Long Coin out there in
Mhm.
Texas. I would definitely want to see that. I would also want to see a Housewives of Vegas
That could be fun. Yeah.
because that could be interesting. You know what I mean? But like they need to spread it around a little bit. We need some new cities.
And like
And I
maybe
think
we don't
that,
need everybody every year.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Maybe
to
we need them
put people
every
on
other year.
pause.
Maybe we need
Exactly.
every 18 months we need to go to Atlanta. Maybe we don't need to go to Atlanta every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially if you're gonna put like to as it relates to the black cast, when you start putting these casts on pause, then you need to have like come back to them, put something else in the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I know we've talked about Carlos King here before, and I think that Carlos is doing this in an interesting way because he's going to these lesser known cities, and especially like not lesser known cities, that's not what I mean, but he's going to these less popular cities, kind of.
Absolutely. Outside of DC, the people in Michigan and damn Huntsville, whoever had heard about anything popping in them places.
Well, I mean, Detroit, sure, but like
Are they, is it Detroit that they're in?
it's
I could
Detroit.
remember. Okay.
It's Detroit. But and I think he has an interesting angle by focusing on the men, which we've talked about too. I'll link that
Yeah.
video here. But by focusing on the men as opposed to it being a world built around the women. So I think he's doing a great job with this. Um, but the standard housewives formula is not working anymore.
No,
So I think
not at all.
Bravo needs to find
They need to shake it
find
up a
something
little
else to
bit.
do.
I feel like, in all sincerity, I feel like you all need like some fresh young producers, and let it be like people like us who are fans of reality TV, who have longevity in terms of watching all these different shows. We done watched a lot of stuff in the
I've
last 20
watched
years.
just about everything.
Um, who have like a viewer's eye, but also want to shake it up and give you something different. Like maybe it might be something like that. And hey, if you want to hire your girls,
Yeah.
the emails in the box.
Yeah. But also I think, I think obviously Carlos King has his distribution with own my mainly, but maybe he can circle the block for a show on Bravo. That's where he started. Not for a
Yeah, but I
housewife
feel
show
like he didn't.
necessarily, but
There might be some bad blood
might be, but I'm
betwixt him
saying
and the Bravo peoples.
yes, might be. But I feel like because they've been doing this for so long, they have a huge range of people and a huge network of people who are probably producing their own shows, pitching their own shows. And it's like, y'all have had all these EPs. They're not off. They didn't retire from being EPs when they left Bravo. You know what I mean? Like, what do
Yeah.
they have to bring to the table? Are there some fresh ideas, someone who can wake it up within
Yes.
their network? So, anyways, we'll see what happens of the Housewives. But I'm gonna be honest, as a used to be an avid housewife watcher, there's a bunch of this shit I would not watch if we didn't review it. So
Girl. Just like I just knew that I was gonna come back to the basketball wives because they had brought OGs back, but like I couldn't get into
I
it.
just couldn't get it. Like, I have not watched an episode of Basketball Wives literally since Malaysia left. And even her show I thought was a little underwhelming. So I was just like, girl, maybe this format just is not this ensemble cast
It's
format,
not
just
doing it.
it's not doing it anymore. Like, we need to waken it up and freshen it up somehow, you know?
It needs to be more like lifestyle. And I think because the girl, like I to the point of the YouTube girlies, they
Mhm.
have hit a stride with this like lifestyle bit. Even if
Mhm.
you're not necessarily the soft life girly where you're in the bag per se, but like people are nosy, myself
Yeah.
included, like seeing your day-to-day life and like stuff that you experience, like those things seem more attainable. And you know what, this is what I'll say: when we were watching Housewives back in the early 2000s, like I think it was only Orange County and Atlanta at the time,
Mhm.
when Nene came on
New
our
York
screens,
too, I
Nene
think.
was like someone in our family. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, she had a nice house, but it wasn't to the power and magnitude that she's at now, but it made her more relatable. And I think with being on these casts for so damn long, they have lost their relatability. And I know that that's been like a point of conjecture as it relates to like big influencers like Jackie Aina
Absolutely.
and Aaliyah's Face and some other ones who have been like, they're definitely in the millionaire, maybe even billionaire status for Jackie. Um, but it's just kind of like you do, as you grow, you move past a certain generation of people.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And it's not even a
So
generation. It's just like also a price point.
yeah,
You know, when you're first watching the YouTube girlies, and I would say it's the same, honestly, it's the same formula that they followed from the Housewives, honestly. But yeah, when you're watching them and they're just getting on and you're excited and you're still excited to watch and you're like, oh, bag, oh, fun, oh, they're getting new things and new opportunities and you're really, really excited. And then it's like at a certain point, it loses all of its
it loses
relatability.
luster. Yeah,
And,
I
and
agree.
and it's not just the luster, it's like the relatability of like, oh, I could save up for that bag. And then it's like, okay, you're
Yeah,
unboxing the 10th bag this month. It's like, okay, well, I don't have, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna get 10
ain't
bags
gonna be
this
able to do
month.
that.
I'm not gonna be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, I think that there needs to be maybe a little recalibration of reality TV to get back to the basics of it, kind of.
yeah, kind of
So
like
where
Real World, when it was the Real World, when it wasn't so
correct.
fabricated.
And like they worked together and they did like ordinary stuff together. It wasn't all, you know, partying.
House
Like
drama. Yeah,
really in the beginning of the real world, they had jobs and they were like, okay,
real jobs.
we have a mission to accomplish this season of the real world in addition to all of the mess. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know if they need a project, a fundraiser that they're all putting together every season or something. They need to do something to freshen these shows up. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Maybe we need to come up with some ideas, y'all. Get down, drop your ideas down in the comments and let us know
Yes.
what you think they could be doing differently. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about
No,
this
that's it.
demise of the housewives as we know it?
No.
All right,
No.
make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, if there's any topics that you want us to talk about or things that we missed, send it to the email and we will likely put it in a video in the next time that we record. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.
Bye.